Nebula, nebula, nebula. I am not nebula. Nebula, nebula, nebula. Maybe at some point I was, as the internet escort, a desire for makeup, but actually with the purpose of, needing to match the money, making one's beauty match the money. Nebula, nebula, nebula. In Bantu or Luganda simply means I beautify myself. It simply means I do not use a helping hand or an extra hand to beautify myself. It as well simply means I use makeup or cosmetics to beautify myself. It as well simply means I do not have beauty, or I feel I do not possess beauty. Such an interesting thing, being able to have internet. Internet is amazing indeed. And then finally you're able to watch something sci-fi, following the hints you are thrown over the years. And without further ado, allow me to say, fuck you, Paul Coelho. All the signs and the hints that something like me that has been made to sleep for 2 decades gets are only to benefit those that are giving them over or that are handing them over. They've been around your life in a way. They have a white woman or white man around them in a way. And even after your awakening from that sleep, 20 years, you find that you still owe them a post on Facebook, a blog post, and even after that, they still come around to try to shut down your Facebook or your WordPress blog. Nebula, nebula, nebula. I watched a sci-fi animation that looks like a game of PlayStation or something grand. Xbox? No, maybe PlayStation or something like GameCube or PlayStation. And at the end of the day, you find that it's a whole situation about being a constellation, and I'm the earthly constellation. And then there's a girl called Nebula, but she's not really Nebula, it's like literature mixed with PlayStation 4. And Nebula is maybe the other one that they are trying to capture. At the end of the day, it makes sense in a way. As I was Nebula, if I ever was Nebula, there was a desire to travel back to Uganda and kill my father. Why? Fast forward, today is 2021, or the year now is 2021. I'm 2 months away from an end of my purgatory, and if you ask me, the biggest frustration and the biggest stronghold is wrapped around the biological father. That is, if he is actually the biological father. Nebula, nebula, nebula. Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the entire cast is something that I have met. Nebula, nebula, nebula. How did Bantu become something that is present in the European and Asian world? Let me guess. Shibuya made it to Africa. Tokyo made it to Africa. Taipei made it to Africa. Bangkok made it to Africa. And so did Copenhagen, Stockholm, Bergen, Hamburg, Berlin, Netherlands, Amsterdam, Groningen, and so much more. Nebula, Nebula, Nebula. If I ever was Nebula, I was the escort earning 2,000 Danish kroner, an equivalent of 1 million Ugandan shillings. And if I do recall, as the younger me, I did say to myself, I don't understand being a sex worker. Like, isn't it painful? Isn't it disrespectful to oneself? But at the same time, invisibly, somebody could have been reading off a script, or somebody could have been sitting in me and taking that, or making it seem like they are the ones putting that into my mouth or head. But I can say that that is my personality. I didn't undermine or shun sex work. I just thought that it's not really me. And anyway, if you meet people that speak like me, or that are tall like me, or that have shoulder bones, hands, physique, feet, or body like mine, they as well are not really sex work. They didn't really think into it, and they haven't really thought into it. Awakened, I was dressed up like Kim Kardashian. In a way, she was done with the hookup scene and boyfriends, and I was done with the escort scene and grown men. Nebula, Nebula, Nebula. If I ever was, I can honestly say that I'm considering if I ever was. Nebula, Nebula, Nebula. Maybe Japan has a name Nebula and no one really knows till they get awakened. Then they awaken them to the fact that it's Bantu and we need to go down to Africa to fuck these black people. And here I am in Makinje, and over the hill from Makinje is Entebbe Airport Road, and over the hill from here is Namasuba with two Total petrol stations, and over another hill from here is Kabalagala, Kansanga, and Muyenga. Very beautiful places with Ethiopian or people of Ethiopian descent and people of Somalian descent. Imagine how much I have to go through while there's no bank, yet in so many ways I'm a constellation. I'm a bank child, I'm an airport child, I'm a zoo child, and 15 stars like the American flag. But actually, as I get to look more and more into social media and the internet, keeping in mind that getting a hotspot in this country called Uganda, East Africa, is impossible. How could that be? Well, somebody got somebody with a physique and somebody with a height like mine, and they attacked as it was a baby and made sure that it would become the sex worker or escort. How did that happen? The cheat came in when I was younger, and the cheat as well decided there will be no Wi-Fi. I don't know. If there is hell, I think the fishnet has holes. If there's fish being caught, I think the fish can tear through the fishnet and get away. So many schools of thought. Um, I'll make you fishers of men, that is the Bible. And Nebula, that is now Guardians of the Galaxy, and NASA USA, NASA Russia. And there is the supernatural Egypt, pyramids, the pharaohs, meaning the bald heads, and actually bald heads do really exist. I think they are the pharaohs, they are the ones that dig the pharaohs and bring in whatever or let in whatever, from scorpions to snakes, and actually the snakes are present. I even do post about them on Facebook. They are human or humanoid, and I post up using my Android. And the ions are we are the ions, Christ ions, Christians. You get to demystify so many things, and that takes us to physics, to chemistry, and then there's mathematics and algebra, and of course Greek mythology, Thanos, and you know, Mykonos, and That as well is Guardians of the Galaxy, meaning Greek mythology meets NASA, USA. Greek mythology meets NASA, Russia. It's 2:23 a.m. Excuse my manners, and I'm almost sleepy, and I'm just recording a video. I'm not actually recording a video, I'm recording an audio. I have screenshots from watching Sci-Fi Central on YouTube, and this is my other way of giving back. Though I must say that something like me supposed to be just let to sleep and rest and have some food and money. That brings in the thought of the Bible, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, and caging the sinners or the unworthy. Yet actually the Bible doesn't talk so much about those things, but the Church of Satan does. They say the Bible has missing scripts. Maybe. Watoto Church Kampala, formerly called Kampala Pentecostal Church. I've never used a Google location in honor of the fact that they made a church sermon and preached unto me. Their doors look like the doors of the viewing of Daniel Arap Moi as a giant Martian, Daniel Arap Moi as a giant ex-president of Kenya, with currency in paper and coins printed in his image or in his likeness. And that takes me all the way to, Entebbe Airport Road, Chitendebe Wajaka Jansi, and Okello Garrison's residence. And in a way, I can say that I don't feel I need makeup now. When I meet the people that affect me, for example, the Peter Baelish males, I remember I'm ugly and I feel ugly, but I don't bow my head, I don't hide my face. Whoever designed me being the internet escort or the sex worker, yeah, that's when they really had me ashamed when I met maybe a Peter Baelish or somebody showing up as a Peter Baelish. And I can say I think that is the world that really affects why I did write a song called Null Classe. Yes, actually, Null Classe is baby class. The world that turns into young kids in nursery school, and as they're in baby class, they run away and they go to top class. They actually did that when I was younger. And then in Copenhagen City School, they told me we actually were in Null Classe, but we ran away and we went up to eat Classe. Why? It's intelligent because as I write a song called Null Classe, and the song actually is called Salt, somebody would think Null Classe is really evil. No, they fight a good fight, but as well they affect. But they fight a good fight. With Eat Classe, that is actually Null Classe, they run the world and they affect. And their teachers, like a Peter Ian Robinson or an Ian Peter Robinson, cannot even say, okay, Emma, you're going to get a passport at this point.